Environment is everything, and it therefore deserved greater attention for sustainability of man and other living things. World Environment Day is celebrated annually every 5th June, and it is the United Nations principal vehicle for the protection of the environment. In Ogun State, the day was celebrated with fanfare, lectures, and intellectual discourse to echo the importance of the environment and to create awareness that a better environment is a collective responsibility of everyone. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the head of service, Dr. Nafiu Aigoro, said this year's theme is significant because the earth is a living planet as it is only one that allows life. Therefore, all efforts must be geared towards sustainable management of our environment.
Environment remains the most significant aspect of human life as it supplies everything needed for our survival. It is the source of our economic, social, spiritual, and material well-being. It is incontrovertible to say that everything is all about environment. The World Environment Day, which came to be since 1972 after the World Conference on Sustainable Development, has been one of the avenues for calling our attention to emerging environmental issues. While efforts towards curbing and ameliorating the impact of some of the environmental challenges have received global acceptance, we cannot, with full confidence, declare absolute victory. We are being mandated today with environmental challenges that are now threatening the resolve of the human race more than ever before. Some of these are climate change, desertification, inter- and intra-communal conflicts, terrorism, unprecedented flood, drought, food insecurity, and other environmental degradations that are pushing to make life at disequilibrium.
Dr. Aigoro also spoke scientifically about the environment, saying that our action on environment will give equal and opposite reaction to the inhabitants.
Though there are few natural causes of these spectral environmental issues, the principal sources are the anthropogenic origins. In line with the law of nature, that every action there is equal but opposite reaction, meaning that the environment is returning to us consequences of our unbridled misuse, abuse, and misappropriation of the planet Earth. I would therefore want to observe that this year's theme, Only One Earth, is a clear call on all of us to take caution on the way we live, eat, transport, and utilize resources. Our business as usual, in an instance and unsustainable way of doing things, is costing the planet its biodiversity, accelerating global warming, and making the air, water, and soil lost the coping capacity, part of the enormity of pollutants being released into them every second.
In his keynote address at the event, the special advisor to the governor on environment, Mr. Ola Oresonya, chronicled the genesis of World Environment Day.
In June 1972, the United Nations General Assembly established the World Environment Day to mark the commencement of the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment. This event was hosted in Stockholm and was themed Only on Earth. That was 50 years ago. This was the first occasion where world leaders met to discuss the social, political, and economic challenges the environment is facing, with the intention of addressing them. It is, however, not surprising that 50 years after this theme, the theme of this year's celebration remains the same. That is, we've gone around the circle. It's an attestation to the fact that we all have just one earth, and it becomes our collective responsibility to preserve it for a good, while ensuring its sustainability for the future generations.
He emphasized that since we have just one earth, it becomes our responsibility to preserve it for our good while ensuring its sustainability for the future generations.
Our ecosystem in Ogun State is very, very fragile and is being affected adversely if we don't do something. If no other state in Nigeria will celebrate or will acknowledge the importance of what the environment is, Ogun State must not be left behind. Ogun State should be after the national recognition. Ogun State should be at the forefront of recognizing this important day because of the importance of this, our fragile environment in Ogun State. It is therefore imperative for us to preserve nature at all cost. I use the word at all cost in Ogun State, both from the regulator side and the developer side. We all have a need to preserve this environment because of these younger ones.
Earlier in his welcome address, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Engineer Razak Ojetola, said we need to take good care of our planet Earth as it is only one we have for living.
The assets of man, my welcome address goes forth like this. In the assets of a man, the natural environment undergoes continual change. The superimposed change on national environment are those which are produced by man. Then the domestication of animals and the introduction of agriculture, the effect of action became more widespread, especially as large human settlements came into being. The rate increases with the development of industries and muscle power were replaced by energy driven by fossil fuel. Until during the last few decades, human impacts have reached unprecedented intensity and affect the whole world due to the fast increased population and urbanization. Besides, it is on this premise that I want to note that planetary emergency and challenges that we are facing in recent time are all harvests of negative attitude and action of men against the environment. They are effects of not living in consciousness of nature and the need to live sustainably in harmony with nature.
He spoke on advantages we may derive if we take good care of our environment.
The campaign slogan for this year event is only one Earth, with a special focus on living sustainably in harmony with nature. The Ministry of Environment has been proactive as always in fulfilling her obligation towards the effective management of environment for better quality of life, has joined the teeming millions of environmental enthusiasts to celebrate this day and to also lend our voice towards raising awareness on the problem facing our environment, while also providing practical solution to protect and restore our planet. With the lecture that will be delivered by the seasoned professor and possible discussion that will come up today, I believe that everyone will leave this place with a renewed commitment to heal the environment.
Series of good messages from partners, professional bodies, associations, and well-meaning Nigerians were delivered at the occasion. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in the state, Town Planner Tunji Odunlami, said we need to create awareness on our environment, which is our heritage.
The World Environment Day is celebrated on the 5th day of June every year, as set aside by the United Nations. The objective of the celebration is to focus attention, create awareness, and encourage action for the protection of the environment, which is our common heritage. The environment is that which surrounds a person, animal or plant. It is the sum of all the living and non-living elements and their effects that influence human life. In other words, the environment consists of action among them.
He said there is a need to differentiate between our natural environment and man-made to understand ourselves better, adding that collaboration between the Ministry of Environment and Physical Planning is essential.
Of great concern, however, is the impact of man on the other elements of the environment, as man influences his environment in so many ways. It is important to differentiate between the natural environment as created by God and the man-made environment, which is man's own imposition on the natural environment. Human beings live in towns, cities, large urban agglomerations, and in small village or rural communities. All these man-made structures are established on the natural environment, thereby affecting other co-tenants, because we are actually tenants on this planet. The myriad of problems facing the environment, such as air, water, and soil pollution arising from waste generation, increased global warming, and rise in sea level have all been the resultant effects of human domestic, agricultural, and industrial activities in the environment. This is where the collaboration between the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development and the Ministry of Environment becomes an imperative.
The Executive Secretary, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Branch, Ms. Motunrayo Elegberun, also has this to say.
I want to say congratulations to Ogun State and to the Ministry of Environment, Okepa Ogwama, for this occasion, and we promise. We know we usually, the industries seem to be on one side and the ministry on the other side. But I want to publicly say that since Mr. Olaoresoya came on board, we've had a good relationship. It's been rocky, but we thank God things have been better now. And we promise to keep partnering with the government to ensure that ministries produce in Ogun State in a way that it does not affect the environment negatively. I would also like to appreciate another person who has always assisted us and served as a bridge, Mrs. Shola Rebecca. Thank you so much. Mr. Olaoresanya, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Directors of Environmental Health in the 20 local government areas of the state, Sanitarian Emmanuel Shodeke said we all need to join hands to protect the environment from degradation, hence protecting ourselves.
By now, you have gotten a very, very better phase. If we count the number of years we've started the celebration. For 5 decades now, Stockholm Conference, since 1972, we've been talking about the environment, the environment, the environment. We have seen clearly that it's only one art. You don't have any other one. So maintaining and managing sustainably all what we have with us on this art, which happen to be our immediate environment, will go a long way. As you protect the environment, you are also protecting yourself.
The President, Nigeria Environmental Society in Ogun State, Dr. Henry Arwa, said we must all be drivers of change on the issues of the environment.
And it is very significant that we have only one earth, and every one of us should do whatever is available, whatever is possible within our ability to protect and sustain the earth. And the slogan for this year is living sustainably in harmony with nature. permit me to just delve a little bit on the sustainability aspect. Sustainability by concept implies that whatever we are doing today, we keep some, we keep reserve, we take cognizance of the future generation. And so that will inform our actions, will inform our usage, will inform our consumption, and ultimately our activities on the environment. There are little things we can do before I round up. Little things we can do individually to protect and preserve the environment. Number one, we can cultivate the habit of using usable bags, especially our women. As they go shopping, they should make use of reusable bags. Unfortunately, at this part of the world, plastics have kind of replaced so many things.
Two distinguished professors in the areas of environment and biodiversity did justice to the topics on biodiversity.
The Earth is the living planet because it allows life. And not so many planets allow life. As we speak, we are still searching for planets that actually allow life. If you have an understanding of a bit of astronomy, the way the universe is set, you will understand that the Earth is a very small part of the entire universe. And we human beings are all here packed in the Earth. And so we don't have another place to live. This is the only place where we have to live. So that is why we need to then begin to think about living sustainably with nature. Alright, so ordinarily the main challenge looks as if it is something that is daunting, climate change. It looks daunting. But as daunting as climate change looks, we have all agreed that we humans have we play a part in causing the climate change. And so that is why we have all agreed that we need to change the way we are living. Now, the main challenge, apart from the aging earth, is the health of mankind. And perhaps that is one part that we all need to pay a serious attention to. How do I mean? If we say the earth is old and it is aging, or the earth is being destroyed by whatever we are doing. By the way, the earth has been here for a long time. And so, who says the earth will still not be here in our own generation? However, the real issue is, even if the earth is here in our own generation, what kind of life are we able to live on this earth in our own generation? Now, basically, the problem is the health of the earth is actually affecting the health of mankind.
To start with the issue of climate change. We all know climate change. Before we used to say we have not been experiencing climate change. But this present situation, we know we are on it, seriously. And what are the causes of this climate change? One of it is burning of fossil fuel, which we all know. Emission of greenhouse gases. Normally we have greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. But due to human activities, the concentration keeps on increasing. And that means the rates at which the temperature will increase. And invariably we are talking of when you look at the trend for 30 to 35 years, you'll be talking of climate change. What are the consequences of this climate change? One of it is flooding and reduction in crop yield. Because climate change can lead to the shortage in the rainfall. That is, at times in certain locations you have enough rainfall, at another location you now have enough rainfall. Definitely when the expected rainfall is to fall, that is the aftermath of climate change. So it will lead to the reduction in agricultural yield.
The younger ones also lend their voices on the need to protect the environment.
The benefits of waste management are as follows. Nearly all incidents generate waste and materials. While the amount of waste varies between incidents, the generated waste is often greater than the amount of waste many communities handle weekly. Additionally, homeland security incidents may generate waste streams such as chemical, biological, and radiological contaminated waste, which typically are not handled by the communities or waste management facilities. The students of African Church Grammar School provides the most benefits, such as measure your waste, reduce and recycle your waste.
Flooding can be defined as the overflowing of water into land that is normally dry. Floods can occur within minutes or over a long period and may last days, weeks, or longer. Areas that are at risk from flash floods. Densely polluted areas are at high risk of flash floods. Areas near rivers are also at high risk from floods. Embankments, known as levees, are often built along rivers and are used to prevent high water from flooding burdened lands.
Gratitude is one of the values of the Ministry of Environment. This came to play as the ministry gave series of awards to 9 environmental compliance industries in Ogun State in different categories. Giant Strides crew caught up with some representatives of the award-winning industries. Here is what they say about the waste management in their organizations.
I want to thank the government of the state and also the various environmental agencies. They have been key in sustaining the push for environmental friendliness. And one of the things we try to do, they put guidelines which as a company we try to follow. And being environmental friendly is one of the key objectives of my organization. Anything to ensure the sustainability of our environment. As one of the things that was being stated during the presentation, they said this: if you fail to take care of the earth, one way or the other, there's a repercussion. There's always a fallout, and that we've come to realize.
It is the effort of the Ogun State government. I need to give it back to the Ministry of Environment. OGEPA constantly, regularly, periodically, they visit our organization. When they come, we have a review of where we were the last visit. We have a review of where we are presently. We do an oversight. They inspect our facilities, they inspect our waste, how we manage it, and how we use our effluent treatment plants, the ETP, how we pass waste to the community through a proper channeled means. So the Ogun State government has really championed this cause for us.
Keeping the environment safe, better, and greener is our collective responsibility. Therefore, it is expected that we all join our hands with the government to keep our environment clean and avoid activities that could jeopardize living harmoniously with nature by curbing menace of planet change, biodiversity loss, and plastic waste. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe wa ni.